we are going to talk some business talk, but a different area than what we've talked about in the past. And it's actually an area that has helped me tremendously in my life, and it has helped so many other areas to flourish. And what are we talking about? We're talking about creating wealth and peace of mind. The two kind of go hand in hand, but it's a subject that very little people talk about. We may focus on building a business, but we don't know how to preserve our assets. We don't know how to hold on to the money that we've made. So we're going to talk about some things that will help you preserve your money better, help you to have it go to work for you, help you to just basically make the most out of what you're bringing in the door, all right? So this may not only be a live stream for you, but it also might be a live stream that would be very beneficial to some people that you know. So if you have a focus and you're building a team and everyone's trying to push and get ahead, then this is definitely a live stream for you and your people. This is a subject that it's near and dear to my heart. Why? Well, first and foremost, I was raised by a single mom in the Bay Area. We grew up, getting subsidized by the government, and basically I kind of knew at a very young age I didn't want to live my adult life like that. I wanted to do some things to get ahead financially so I can take care of myself and I can help my mama. And you know what? Things started to go really well. As I got older, I started learning about real estate investing. Started going all in on the market. At one point, we had amassed this huge amount of real estate, and we're like, hey, it's great. We've arrived. Everything's good. And then, of course, you guys know what happened there. So the market went tumbling down. We lost it all. And, the area of financial increase has just been something that has been, it's always been big. Because if you have money, you don't think much about it. But when you don't have money, it can affect every other area of your life, right? It's just like air. Like if we don't have our air, if we don't have oxygen, we're going to be in trouble. So it ranks right up there with that. So we're going to talk about 9 specific areas that will help you in investing better in yourself, creating wealth, and basically also guaranteeing that peace of mind. So I'm excited to share this with you guys. The first thing is, first and foremost, we got to watch our expenses. A lot of times it's so easy to think, hey, I'm making a lot of money, or maybe we're not making a lot of money, but we're thinking like, hey, I'm not going to worry about it because I'm going to make so much, right? I remember years ago when we were in the real estate market, I had a friend of mine and this guy made a lot of money. Like he did over $1 million a year, but the guy spent so much. Like he just it was oozing out of him, right? And so, we got to watch our expenses. Some specific areas that you can watch is your insurance, right? A lot of times we have things that we can pay for a similar caliber product and it costs less money. So it's like, why pay for air, right? Use that money, invest it in something that's going to bring you dividends. It's going to bring you a return on your investment. So check different things. Check your insurance, check your phone bill, check your internet, check, hey, when you do your shopping for your home, get you a membership like Costco or Sam's Club or something so that you can buy a lot of the things that you're going to use month in and month out, but you're getting them at the very best price. Why do that? Well, hey, might as well keep more of that money in your pocket because it's not going to make a difference in the caliber of your life. Like it doesn't improve your life to spend more money on things that you don't need to spend more money on, right? So that is the first thing. The second thing is cut out the latte factor. Now, I don't know if you've heard of this. I first heard of this in an audiobook I listened to called The Automatic Millionaire by David Bach. Love this, okay? He had so many different principles that he talked about, but this was one that I really latched onto, okay? Now, what is the latte factor? Well, a lot of times we have these little habits that we do, like going by Starbucks and getting a latte every morning or twice a day or 3 times for the really faithful ones, right? We have these little things that we do where a lot of times we do it out of habit, and it's not necessarily like, oh, we must have this thing, but we just do it because that's what we do. Stopping at the store to buy water or soda, stopping for your latte, stopping and getting things that really don't add value. That if we just plan ahead, it could really save a lot for you and your family in the long run. It's interesting because when you run numbers, if you just think about like small numbers, like, okay, hey, let's say somebody spends a superfluous extra $3 a day on their latte, right? And we cut that out. Now, of course, in reality, it's probably more than that because we know lattes cost more now than nowadays. But so let's just say $3 a day. Over the course of a month, $3 times 30, well, that's like $90, right? So over the course of the year, that's a little shy of $1,200. Imagine that multiplied year upon year upon year. It's like that could be a phenomenal vacation that you would have taken. It could have been something that really made a big difference in your life, but instead we just kind of, let the money slip through our fingertips. Now, one thing I think is really important when you think about this is it's not about like being like super Nazi and cutting out everything that you want and you enjoy, but it is about being aware. Because a lot of times we do things just on autopilot, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna order a drink when I go to dinner, or I'm gonna get the extra little thing here, the extra little thing there, and we do it just because it's habit, but it doesn't really. It's not like we really were wanting it or craving it. So just pay attention, and where possible, cut out the latte factor. All right, number 3. This is good. Get your money working for you. If you have your money and it's like under the mattress or in a bank account or doing something where it's not going to bring you dividends, it is not working towards your benefit. In fact, if it's just sitting there, it's actually going backwards, because most of the time, if it's in like a savings account, it's not even keeping up with inflation. So what can you do with your money? Well, if you are a business owner, obviously one of the main places that you're going to invest it is in your business, right? In your own development, in working on who you are personally. Obviously, outside of that, we have real estate, we have stocks, we have bonds, we have so many different other things. Now, this book, don't know if you've heard of it, Tony Robbins' Money Master the Game. Love this book. Monster, okay? 600-page book. I have been digesting this for the past several years. And I love the principles that he talks in there. So many of us, we plan our vacations better than we plan our financial future. Like, we don't put that much effort into it. And if somebody works a job and they have like a pension plan or a 401k or something like that, the people that are in charge of your money, they're not paying much attention to it, right? As much as we want to, kid ourselves to think that they are, most of the time they are not. So it's up to us to take our financial future into our own hands. If we're going to invest our hard-earned money on something, we better darn well know what it is that we're putting it into and have some knowledge on that area. I think that's really, really important. This is another one, The Richest Man in Babylon. Love this book, okay? If you like old school stories, like this is set back in Babylonian times, and it's just an awesome read. It goes along with a storyline, and it's about a gentleman who just, like, he started with nothing. He went out there, he had all kind of mistakes in business, and then through learning some principles that he applied in his life, he ended up being the richest man in Babylon, hence the name of the book. But it's absolutely phenomenal. And, one of the things that they talk about in here is, not investing your money in a place that you know nothing about. Super, super big. Like, people can talk about things to us and be like, oh, you should invest in this, or you should invest in that, or like they could get you all hyped up. But if we really don't know the inner workings of that, the odds of us losing our capital are very, very high. And if you know Warren Buffett, what does he talk about? Rule number 1, don't lose money. Rule number 2, see rule 1, right? So not losing your capital, not losing your principal is a very, very important thing. So we want to have that fine line between, hey, we don't want it sitting in a savings account, but at the same token, how can we put it to work for us in a way that is extremely, it's safe, right? You're going to protect your money while you grow it. Again, check the Tony Robbins book, because he's got some killer things in there. Annuities. There's something called the All Seasons Financial Portfolio Formula. I mean, it's 600 pages, so it's a lot to digest. But if you take the time to really focus on what it is that you want for you and your family's financial future, it can pay you big, like big with a lot of zeros and commas behind it. Okay, so a big number. All right, number 4, own your own home. If you don't own your own home so far, that should be a top goal on your list. Because if you've ever looked at millionaires and people that are financially free, home ownership is a decent percentage of their assets. So definitely own your own home. Guys, who's getting some value out of this so far? Has this been helpful? Are you picking some things up that you feel like maybe you could start using and you could start applying in your life? I want to know. Let me know. Put some comments up there. If you feel that this has been beneficial to you, you're picking up some nuggets here, and you'd like to share, feel free to share. We have 4 more that we're going to go through. So, number 5, this is a big one. Don't carry credit card debt. Now, we live in a day and age where that's like unheard of. It would be like, oh my gosh, you have credit card debt? Who are you kidding, right? Like, most people have credit card debt. So you be different. You stand out from the crowd. When I was going through all kinds of craziness with our properties, back when the real estate market was crazy, this was a huge monkey on our back. I mean, I don't even know how much credit card debt we had, but I don't know, could have been 6 figures. I mean, it was a decent amount, okay? And not having that monkey on your back is like a breath of fresh air. Now, one thing I will say is if you can take advantage of credit cards that give you bonus points, get it, charge it, pay it off. But in your mind, you're paying everything cash. Okay, so no credit card debt. Number 6, live within your means and invest the difference. You know what's crazy is there are people who can be in the top 1% of society as far as the type of income that they make, and they can be broke. They can make $250,000 a year, and they can be broke $250,000 a year earners. Why? Well, if we simply spend more than we earn, we will have a problem. Like the math is just not going to add up. And yet what's interesting is in the David Box Automatic Millionaire, he talks about people who they had limited resources. They made, between husband and wife made 40 grand a year, and they became millionaires because of their diligence and how they handled their finances. Finances is like 90% habit. Like what you do is not that big, but your habits around what you do is huge. So that is important. Okay, the next one, number 8, make it automatic. Making it automatic, again, learn from the Automatic Millionaire. What is so important about this? Okay, now if you're self-employed, it may be a little bit more challenging because you're like, well, my checks are random, they're not the same amount. Here's what I do. Every single time money hits my bank account, and I usually know when it's coming, I go in and I divvy it up. I have multiple bank accounts that are attached to my one primary account, okay? So I have a freedom fund, okay? This is my long-term, we're gonna invest for the future, we're gonna kind of set it and forget it. So portion goes to the freedom fund. I have personal development. Now, personal development is something I firmly believe in. Personal development has caused us to grow so much in so many different areas, not just our quality of life and our relationships, but literally, we've gone from making, whatever we make in a year to making that same amount in 1 month. And that doesn't happen because, we work so hard, because we changed this that allowed us to add more value to the marketplace. So always, always, always set a personal development fund aside for yourself. You are so worth it. The greatness inside of you needs to be stirred up. The caliber of your thinking needs to be taken to another level so that you can start going the places that you want to go. You can start doing the things that you want to do. You can start leading the team that you hope to one day see when you go in your back office, right? So personal development is big. Firmly believe in that. And then of course, I left out one that was very important. So I got 3 places I put it. First, we're doing our tithe, okay? So I believe that, you got to give to God what's God's. And he says that the first 10th of your income belongs to him. So let's not rob God. Let's make sure that we give him what's his. And you know what he says? He says that when you do that, he will open the windows of heaven and pour out such blessing, there's not room enough to contain it. And you know what? I have seen that in my life. Sometimes you're like, I'm not sure how the math adds up, but somehow it all works. So just trust me, push your tithe out there. Where do you tithe? Well, if you go to church, you're going to tithe to your local church. If you don't have a church, get plugged in. You need one. You got to have fellowship of other people around you that believe the same thing and they're pushing and moving forward. All right, that's the last one. Guys, I kind of mushed them all together, but that is the last one. So I hope this was beneficial. I hope you take these things and you apply them and you use them and you share this with the people that would do the same thing. Because the lack of finances can tear apart everything. It can tear apart your home. It can tear apart your marriage. It can put so much stress in your body that you're just a twisted mess. And so these are things that I've used, I've applied. It's revolutionized our life. To go from broke and in foreclosure and, 6 figures in debt and just lots of drama and lots of mental and emotional chaos around finances to now, hey, before we get out of bed, everything's been paid. And I don't even know what the percentage is, but if you can live on a small percentage of your income, life is just good. Life is just good. And so these tips that we went over are part of that, but then also, of course, increasing the income helps as well, which we talk about all the time. So guys, I hope this was beneficial. Take it, apply it. One other thing is that if one of your major goals is to build and expand your business, is to, create something that can start adding cash flow, because cash flow is the name of the game, then one of the things that I would highly recommend is learning how to use this platform we're on right now, learning how to use social media to your benefit. There's people that get on their phone and you know what? They're looking at their Facebook, they're looking at their whatever, and you know what? They don't use the tool that God has put in their hands to give them increase. So I would highly suggest that you do that if you want to learn how to attract prospects to you using the power of social media and you're not quite sure what to do. I have something that will help. If you click on the link that's listed in the description, you are going to get my social media blueprint. It is a MP3 download. You can listen while you're on the go. Take it, apply it. It covers 4 key principles that are essential elements to attracting prospects using social media. So guys, that is it for tonight. So great to see you all. Have an amazing night, and I will see you all next time. For more great training and to receive your free MP3 download on how to attract prospects using social media, the 4 essential elements to attracting prospects, visit summergeronimo.com.